That night was the longest night of my life. I sat on the sofa, the silence in the apartment deafening, the ticking of the clock marking every agonizing second. I must have rehearsed what I was going to say 1,000 times, but when the key finally turned in the lock, my mind went completely blank. He walked in, just like any other night. He was humming a tune, a smile on his face that used to be the center of my world. He dropped his briefcase by the door, loosened his tie, and walked over to me. He leaned in and kissed me, a casual, familiar kiss that now felt like a viper's bite. "Hey, honey," he said, completely oblivious. "Smells good. What's for dinner?" My heart hammered against my ribs. I looked straight into his eyes, the eyes I thought I knew so well, and the words just fell out of my mouth, cold and heavy. "How old is your daughter?" He froze. It was like watching a movie in slow motion. The smile slid off his face, replaced by a look of pure, unadulterated shock. His whole body went rigid, and he just stared at me, his mouth slightly agape. He didn't try to deflect. He didn't ask what I was talking about. He just knew. He backed away slowly, as if the air between us had turned to ice, and sank onto the armchair opposite me. The silence stretched on, thick with everything unsaid. Then he finally spoke, his voice barely a whisper. "I was going to tell you. One day." One day. Those two words echoed in the room. One day? When? On our 10th anniversary. On his deathbed. When was the right day to tell your wife she's not the only one? He didn't even try to lie. The fight I had braced myself for never came. Instead, the dam broke, and the whole ugly, devastating truth came pouring out. He told me everything. He'd been with her long before he met me. They had a history, a life, a child together. He claimed they had broken up, but it was a breakup in name only. They never truly ended things. He was still entangled with her when he met me, when he proposed, when he stood at the altar and promised to forsake all others. He married me while he was still seeing her, still a part of her life. And then he said the words that shattered what little was left of my world. He said he loved us both. He said he couldn't choose. He didn't want to lose either of his families. Families. Plural. My mind just couldn't process it. It was like a scene from a twisted movie. Only this was my life. I wasn't just a wife who had been cheated on. I was a second wife, an unknowing participant in a secret polygamous life. I was the other woman in my own marriage. My voice was surprisingly steady when I asked the next question, the one that burned in my throat. "Do they know about me?" He shook his head, unable to meet my gaze. "No," he mumbled, staring at the floor. He had kept us completely separate. Two different worlds, orbiting the same deceitful sun. Two homes. Two women who loved him. Two lives built on a foundation of lies. A wave of nausea washed over me. But strangely, the tears didn't come. There was no screaming, no throwing things, no dramatic breakdown. There was just a profound, hollow emptiness. It was as if all the emotion had been vacuumed out of me, leaving behind a cold, clear certainty. Without another word, I stood up, walked into our bedroom bedroom, and pulled my suitcase from the top of the closet. I started packing, my movements robotic and detached. He followed me into the room, finally snapping out of his stupor. The begging started. "Please," he pleaded, grabbing my arm. "Don't go. We can fix this. I'll leave her. I swear, I'll end it for good. We can start over." Start over? The word sounded absurd. How do you start over when the very beginning was a lie? How do you rebuild on a foundation that was never there? Every memory we'd ever made was now tainted. Every "I love you," every shared laugh, every plan for the future, it was all a performance. He wasn't just asking me to forgive an affair. He was asking me to accept that our entire life together had been a sham. He kept talking, making promises he should have made years ago. But his words were just noise. I zipped up my suitcase, walked past him without a glance, and headed for the door. I left my key on the entryway table. That night, I didn't just leave a man. I left a life that was never really mine. I drove to my sister's house in a daze. I didn't tell her the whole story that night, just that I needed a place to stay. For weeks, I told no one. I was shrouded in a thick fog of shame. How could I have been so blind? So stupid? I replayed every moment, every business trip he took, every late night at the office, looking for the signs I must have missed. I felt like a fool. The world felt muted, and I was just going through the motions of being alive. But slowly, with my sister's unwavering support, the fog began to lift. Little by little, I started talking about it, and with every word I spoke, a little bit of the shame chipped away. I began to see it clearly. This wasn't my fault. I didn't fail. He was the one who made the choice to deceive, to live a double life, to shatter the trust of two different women who loved him. It's been a while since that night. The healing process is long, and it's not a straight line. There are good days, and there are days when the weight of the betrayal feels heavy again. But I'm rebuilding. I'm rediscovering who I am outside of that relationship. I'm learning to trust again, which is the hardest part. Not just trusting other people, but trusting my own judgment, my own intuition. He had a secret family, a whole secret life hidden in the shadows. But in the wreckage he left behind, I found something I didn't even know I was missing. I found myself, and now I'm building a new life. A life that is honest from the ground up. A life that is completely and totally my own. And that's a strength no secret can ever take away. Thank you for listening to my story. If you're going through something similar, please know you are not alone. Follow for the next chapter in my journey.